Good morning, Year 6. We're going to continue consolidating our understanding of pie charts today. Please make sure you watch the entire video, including the answers. I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to get started on today's learning. Before we begin, please make sure that you have the following equipment. You will need a pencil, some paper, and don't forget a coloured pen or highlighter for your marking. Don't forget, I'm expecting you to watch the entire video. Even if you're feeling confident with today's learning, keep watching the video because there will be further challenge questions to stretch your understanding. I'd like to share some work with you today. This is the work of one person in Year 6 who has uploaded 3 pages worth of work from a lesson that took place on Wednesday. First, they've uploaded their morning arithmetic and reasoning. The number one clue that you haven't watched the video is that you haven't done the morning arithmetic and reasoning. These questions are only in the video, and so if you haven't done them, that indicates you have not watched the whole video. So please make sure you're uploading your arithmetic and reasoning work, which has also been marked. This child in Oxford class, which is Alea, has also, during the lesson, taken notes of the input. This is the lesson where we were learning the different parts of the circle. So you can see where Alea has paused the video to write down useful things that she thinks might help her. For example, she's written the definition of the radius, the diameter, and the circumference. She's then written the do now questions, she's written the questions that she's been asked to do as the video has gone along, and she's marked them as that's happened. Then she's done her independent work. She has done both the new learning questions and the developed learning questions. Well done, Alea, really high quality work. Please make sure that everybody is trying their hardest to demonstrate how carefully they've paid attention to the video by doing all 3 parts of the work. She took 3 photos and uploaded them in one post onto Seesaw. Really organised, well done. Okay, let's start off today's work with this morning's arithmetic. Please pause the video now and try these 6 questions. Don't forget to do the questions. You need to complete all 6 questions. Do them neatly because I will be expecting you to upload them. If you've already finished your questions, well done, we'll start marking them. 2 quarters divided by 4. We know that we can remember how to do this by remembering KFC. K stands for keep the first fraction. F stands for flip. Flip 4 over 1 to make it 1 over 4. And C stands for change divide to times. Now I'm doing 2 times 1, which is 2, and 4 times 4, which is 16. 32.14 multiplied by 100. I need to move that 2 place value columns to the left. Down, 1, 2. Down, 1, 2. I say down to remind myself that moving down doesn't count as one of my 2 moves. My answer should be 3,214. Well done if you got that one. Next, 2 sevenths add 3 49ths. I need to make them have the same denominator. I'm going to choose 49ths. Now I think to myself, how have I got from 7 to 49? I've multiplied by 7, so the numerator must also be multiplied by 7. 2 times 7 is 14. I haven't done anything to 49 to make it 49, so that remains the same. 14 add 3 is equal to 17. My final answer will be 17 over 49. 46% of 340. You could solve this by chunking, but I think a quicker way of doing this would be to multiply 340 by 46, and then to insert your decimal point by dividing by 100. I'm going to move this question down very quickly, because I won't have enough space to solve it. Okay. 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 4 is 24, 6 times 3 is 18, add 2 is 20. Put my 0 in. 4 times 0 is 0, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 3 is 12, add 1 is 13. I'm going to add them up, 0, 4, 6, 5, and 1. But then I need to remember 46% means 46 out of 100. I now need to divide my answer by 100 by putting a decimal point 2 digits in. The answer is 156.4. For 80 multiplied by 50, I imagine some of you accidentally wrote the answer 400. If you were doing that, you probably thought you needed 2 extra zeros on the end. I'm going to show you now why the answer 400 is wrong. 8 times 5 is equal to 40. 40 is the answer to 8 times 5. 80 is 10 times greater, 50 is 10 times greater, so your answer should be 100 times greater than 40. It needed 2 extra zeros, not 2 zeros. Well done if you said 4,000. I'm going to solve this long division question with the method my class has learned, which is the formal method of long division. If you've been using the chunking method, so long as you have the same answer, you've got it right. So I'm doing 1,246 divided by 89. Okay, first I need to see, does 89 fit into 1? No. Does it fit into 12? No. How many times does 89 fit into 124 then? 89 is just less than 100, so I certainly can't fit in more than 1. It fits once, and my next step is to subtract 89 from 124. 4 take away 9 is not possible, so I will regroup here. 14 take away 9 is 5, and 11 take away 8 is equal to 3. My next step is to bring down the next digit, which is 6. I now need to decide how many times 89 fits into 356. I could use rounding, it's about 100, and 356 would round up to 400, or I could use my times tables knowledge. What multiple of 9 ends in 6? I think it's going to be 89 times 4. I'll just double check that here. 89 times 4. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 8 is 24. Add 3 is 356. Yes, it was 4 times. My answer then is 14. Well done if you got that one correct. Have a go now at these reasoning questions. Please pause the video and answer these reasoning questions on your piece of paper. Okay, you need to be really careful with place value when you're ordering them from smallest to largest. For me, to make sure I get it correct, I would write them in vertically down the left-hand side, lined up by the decimal point. 4.34, 43.4, 4.034, 0.434, and 4.334. This will avoid me making any silly mistakes when it comes to my place value. For example, I can clearly see 43.4 is the largest. Right, I start with the smallest decimal. I look in my tens column. The only one with a 4 is that one. That's clearly the largest. I'll pop that there for now and cross it out. Now I'm looking for the smallest. I look in the ones column. 0 is the smallest, so I'll put 0.434 there. Cross it off. Next smallest, I'd look in my ones column, and they all now have 4, so now I need to look in the tenths column. 4.0 is the next smallest, so my next number is 4.034. Cross it off. Now I'm looking in at the last two numbers, 4.3 in the tenths, 4.3 in the tenths, so now I need to look in the hundredths. 4.33, 4.34. 33 is smaller than 34, so 4.334 is the next number, and then finally 4.34. I'm sorry that that's a little messy. It's quite difficult to try and make that much calculation neat on this piece, on this device. Let's have a go at the next one then. Again, writing it vertically to make sure you're not making a mistake with place value. 0.79, 0.811, 0.08, and 1.01. The smallest number here then will be 0.08. Next I can see it's 0.79, followed by 0.8, as that's the same as 80, 0.811, and finally 1.01. The next sentence said, decide whether these statements are true or false. All rectangles have 4 sides. Yes. All rectangles have 4 equal sides. No. Some rectangles do, and they have a special name, which is a square, but not all of them. Some rectangles have no right angles. Definitely not. All rectangles have 4 right angles. All rectangles have at least 1 line of symmetry. Yes. All rectangles actually have at least 2 lines of symmetry. Right. Stephen is thinking of a number. His number is greater than 20, but less than 50, in between 20 and 50. His number is a square number. What number is he thinking of? You needed to go through your squared numbers to see which ones are between 20 and 50. I know 5 times 5 is 25, that fits, and 6 times 6 is 36. I also know 7 times 7 is 49. Any of those 3 answers would have worked. A TV program begins at 6:45. It lasts 27 minutes. What time does the program finish? Write your answer in the 24-hour clock. If you used column addition to solve this problem, automatically it is wrong. When answering problems with time, you should be using a number line because there are not 100 minutes in an hour, there are 60 minutes in an hour. I'm going to use this number line here. My time starts at 6:45. I need to think, what can I add to get to the next hour, which is 7 o'clock? I can add 15 minutes. I had a total of 27 minutes to add, so if I've already added 15 minutes, next, the last group jump that I'm going to do is going to be to add 12 minutes. That takes me up to 7:12. If you said the answer 7:12, you were very, very close, but you needed to be careful. This is 7:12 p.m. and I was asked to give my answer in the 24-hour clock. When I'm doing the 24-hour clock, if the time is in the afternoon, add 12 to the hours. 7 add 12 is 19:12. Very well done if you got the final answer of 19:12. Okay, please can you pause the video and write the date and WALT and answer these do now questions. Don't forget to pause the video and solve the do now questions. I expect to see them uploaded onto Seesaw. Okay, what fraction of the children walk to school? We're asked for a fraction here, so we would say 1/2. What percentage of the children drive? Driving means they've come by car. That's 1/4, which I know as a percentage is 25%. What percentage of the children walk or cycle? Remember yesterday I told you that when you're looking at statistics, the word or means add together. So what percentage walk? That's 50%. What percentage cycle? 25%. Add them together and you're left with 75%. What fraction do not cycle? Okay, I'm looking at my fractions now. What fraction do not cycle? I could see 1/4 does cycle. That tells me the rest do not cycle. The rest are 3/4. The other way you could have solved that is saying 1/2 don't cycle and 1/4 don't cycle. Add them together and you will get 3/4. Okay, today we're going to continue consolidating our understanding of pie charts. Please make sure you continue watching the video because there are some tricky reasoning questions at the end and I'm going to show you some very similar questions during the video. Those of you who have been going straight to the questions, you're struggling with your reasoning problems because you're not watching the video. Right, in this question, I'm told there are 80 children in Foxwood School. What fraction of the children drive? I'm asked for the fraction, so all I need to do, just like before, is say 1/4 of the children drive. The next question says how many children? If you're asked for how many children, you can't give your answer as a fraction. How many children are there? Oh, 1/4. That doesn't make sense. I need to work out the actual number of children. If I'm asked for the fraction of the children, that means I've got 1/4 of the total. My total is how many children there are in the school in total. 1/4 of 80. That's 80 divided by 4, which is 20. How many children walk? I'm not looking for a fraction or percentage, I'm looking for the number of children. Half of the children walk, but I'm looking for the number of children, so I need to do half of 80. Half of 80 is 40. I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at solving these questions on your piece of paper that you will upload. It's a very similar question, but you will see now there are 440 children at Kilburn Park. I want to know what fraction walk, how many children that is, and then your challenge question, how many children walk or cycle? Remembering when statistics or usually means to add. Pause the video now and try those questions. Okay, what fraction of the children walk? The fraction of children is 1/2. How many children walk? That's 1/2 of 440. I'm going to use my halving facts then. Half of 400 is 200, half of 40 is 20, half of 440 is 220. Okay, now I want to know how many children walk or cycle. I know 220 children walk already. I worked that out before. Now I need to work out how many children cycle. Cycling is 1/4, so I need to find 1/4 of 440. 440 divided by 4 would be 110. Remembering that or means adding them together, 220 add 110 is equal to 330. Another way you could have solved that question is by first deciding what fraction walked or cycled. You could have said, walking or cycling is 3/4, and then you could have just found 3/4 of 440. Both methods would have got you the correct answer. This is a pie chart to show you how many Pokemons belong to each child. There's a pile of 200 Pokemon cards, and this pie chart shows which cards or which proportion of cards belongs to each child. So this pie chart shows the proportion of Pokemon cards each child has. In total, there are 200 cards. My first question says, how many of the cards belong to Amir? I'm seeing that phrase, how many? That tells me I'm not looking for a fractional percentage, I'm looking for the actual number. Amir has 1/2 of them, and the total is 200. 1/2 of 200 is equal to 100. How many of the cards belong to Jack? Again, that phrase, how many? That tells me my final answer should be the number. Jack is up here. This square rectangle there means I've got exactly 90 degrees, which tells me it's 1/4 of the circle. 1/4 of 200 then is equal to 50. How many of the cards belong to Tom? For Tom, I don't actually know what that fraction is, but you can see in Tom's segment of the pie, the number 5% has been written. That's because it would be inaccurate for me to guess what fraction that is, so I've been told it's 5%. Then all I'm doing is 5% of 200. If I know 10% is 20, to find 5%, I just halve that. 5% of 200 will be equal to 10. I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at these similar questions on your own piece of paper. The questions are similar to get you used to them, but please note the total number of cards has changed. Pause the video and try these 3 questions. Okay, I'm now looking for 1/2. How many cards belong to Amir? That's 1/2 of the total, which is 80. 1/2 of 80 is 40. How many belong to Jack? Jack's still 1/4. This time I'm looking for 1/4 of 80, which is equal to 20. How many of the cards belong to Tom? I'm now looking for 5%. 5% of 80. I know 10% of 80 would be equal to 8, so 5% of 1/2 of that, 5% is equal to 4. Well done if you got those right. Please make sure you're marking them as you go along. Okay, we're now going to look at some different types of questions. I'll do the red one and then you try the green one. 720 people took part in a survey about playing instruments. How many people does each segment represent? Well, I can see that each section is equal. That means all I need to do is count up how many parts there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means each instrument has 1/6 of the pie. How many people does each segment represent? Tells me I'm looking for 1/6 of 720. 720 divided by 6. I know that 72 divided by 6 is equal to 12, so 720 divided by 6 is 120. Pause the video now and try the second question. Okay, I can see there are 1, 2, 3 equal parts. That means each part is 1/3. I'm asked how many people though, not what fraction. So I'm looking for 1/3 of 990. I know 99 divided by 3 would be 33, so 990 divided by 3 is 330. Well done if you got that one. Let's do the same thing here. I'll do the red one, then you try the green one. The pie chart shows the votes of 240 people. Find the missing values. In this question, I'm not asked for what fraction, I'm asked for the missing values. The total is 240. I'm told this amount is 60. This amount is 1/4. If that's 1/4 and this is another 1/4, I know this value is also 60. Okay, now I need to find this value. How could I do that? There's lots of different ways you could do it, but think carefully the most accurate way of doing it. I don't actually know what fraction this is. It's not clear enough. So I'll have to think of another way of doing it. I'm going to use my knowledge of half in order to solve it. If I know each 1/4 is equal to 60, this half is 120. I know that's half, it's a clear fraction. On this side then, I also have another half. Not all of the half is orange. Some of it is blue. I'll take the blue part away. 120, take away the blue part, which is 30, gives me 90. The orange section is worth 90 people. Have a go at the green question now, seeing which parts you can work out easily, which parts are similar. The pie chart shows the values or the results of 540 people. Find the missing values. Pause the video, have a go. In this question, it's actually a little bit easier than the previous one because you can see two pairs of equivalent fractions. I can see this is 180 and the rock music is an equivalent fraction. That means this is also 180. The hip hop is equivalent to classical, so that is also 90. Well done if you found those two values. I could quickly check that's correct by adding those all up and making sure they're equal to 180. 90 add 90 is 180. Sorry, 540. 90 add 90 is 180. Then I've got three groups of 180. That's 180 times 3, 0, 24. 3 add 2, 540. Yep, it all adds together to be 540. Okay, this is one of the reasoning problems. Again, I'll do the red one and then you try the green one. Phil says, I do not have enough information to work out the total number of votes. It says, what's your favourite time of day? Morning, lunchtime, afternoon, evening and nighttime. I can see this section here has been filled in with a 60. So, do we have enough information in order to find out the total number of votes? We actually do in this instance. I can see that 60, if I draw that line there, you can clearly see that 60 is the same as 1/6. If I know 1/6 of the whole pie is 60, I can use that fact to find the total. If 1/6 is 60, all of it, or 6/6, would be 60 multiplied by 6. That's equal to 360 people. Have a look at Rosie's question and see if you can work out in that question whether or not she's got enough information to work out the total number of votes. You can see she knows how many people are in year 3, but does she know how many people how many people were surveyed in total? I'm going to give you a little clue in a moment. Have a go first. If you're stuck, unpause the video and look at my clue. Okay, here is my clue. Have another go now. Okay, so my clue basically showed you that each segment is equal to 1/6. So again, I can see 70 people is 1/6. If I know 70 people is 1/6, to find the whole thing, all I'm doing is 70 times 6. 7 times 6 is 42, so 70 times 6 is 420. In this question, I'm also going to have to work backwards and use my reasoning skills. Each person who attended a food festival in London was asked to choose their preferred Mediterranean food. Fill in any missing labels and explain your reasoning. First, I want to know what information I have. So I can see E is lamb kebabs. That information is missing. I need to know how many people chose lamb kebabs. I can see A is swordfish, and I do not know how many people chose swordfish. So what I'll do now is I'll decide which of these fractions it would be easiest to work out. Look at E and A. Which one is a more recognisable fraction when you look at it? For me, I would say A is very clearly 1/4. So in order to do this, I will quickly now find what 1/4 of the total is. The total number of people is 784. So I'm looking for 1/4 of 784. I'll have to do 784 divided by 4. 4s into 7 fits once, regrouping 3 times. 4s into 38 fits 9, regroup twice. 4s into 24 is 6. That tells me that 1/4, which is grilled swordfish, is 196 people. I now need to find out my lamb kebabs. When I'm doing this question, I need to think to myself, can I be 100% certain what fraction E represents? It does look like a third, but am I certain it's a third? I know that is 1/4, and that also looks like a third. But I know it can't be true that 1/3 plus 1/3 is 1/4. So in order to be safe, I'm actually going to go about this question a different way. What I'm going to do is add up the total number of people so far. Okay, I know that 98 add 98 will be equal to 196. So I can do 196 add 196. 6 add 6 is 12. 9 add 9 add 1 will be equal to 19. 1 add 1 is 3. Then I'll add on my final 98. That makes 10, 19 and 4. So far, I've got 490 people who have voted. In order to find the lamb kebabs, then, will I add or subtract that number? From the total, I will subtract. 784 take away 490. 4 take away 0 is 4, 8 take away 9 will need regrouping, 18 take away 9 is 9, and 6 take away 4 is 2. Lamb kebabs is 294 people. The final piece of information that was missing was just, what is B? Well, I can see that Moroccan meatballs and chicken wraps have already been labelled, so B must be the Spanish omelette. If you found that question difficult, don't worry, because that question is the hardest challenge question, or a question similar to that is the hardest challenge question. I'm now going to show you what your independent work is. Everybody needs to attempt these 8 questions. Please, in your worksheet, or on your, when you're doing it on a piece of paper, label them clearly as question 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. At the top, I've put a helpful clue to help you remember whether you're looking for the fraction or you're looking for the number. Then, everybody is to try these reasoning questions. Again, reasoning 1A and 1B. We've seen questions very similar, so everyone should be able to do it. The next group of questions are an extra challenge. This question is like the one I've shown you, and these 2 questions here, this is a harder one of this one earlier, and this one here, you just need a strong understanding of fractions. I'd like you to have a go at those challenge questions, but I don't want you to be concerned if you find them difficult. You must all do the first group of questions and the second group of questions, but when it comes to the extra challenge, have a go, but if you're finding it difficult, don't worry too much. Pause the video now and try those questions, but remember you need to continue watching the video after you've done the questions. I will go through the answers for you, and it's essential that you come back and mark your work. So pause the video now and have a go at the questions, but come back to the video to mark your work. Remember, it's important that you're showing integrity, so please do not continue to watch the video if you have not yet finished all of your independent work. Okay, at this point, I actually think some children might not have followed my instructions and will have stopped watching the video. I think that because some children aren't marking their work. So we're going to play a little game. We're going to play a trick on the children who don't watch the videos. You're going to have a secret instruction today. Your secret instruction is, at the bottom of your maths work, I'd like you to draw a small picture of a dog. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't even have to be good, but it should clearly be a picture of a dog. I'm going to show you a very simple version now. I'm going to draw a very, very basic picture of a dog. Just going to start with his face, his ears like that, 2 eyes, his nose, and he's going to be sitting down with his tail there. My dog is going to be saying, I love maths. Now, lots of children in year 6 won't draw a picture of a dog because they have not watched the whole video. Don't tell them to do it because that would spoil the fun, but in our afternoon briefing, please let your teacher know whether or not you drew a picture of a dog and why you did that. This will help the children who aren't watching the full video to understand it's essential they're watching all of the instructions. I'm going to go through the answers now. Enjoy drawing your dogs. Okay, here are the answers then. What fraction of the pie chart represents people who drink squash? That was 3/4. What fraction of the pie chart represents people who chose oranges? That was 1/4. The pie chart shows the missing votes of 36 people. Find the missing value. 36 people were quizzed. 12 people chose English. 36 take away 12 is 24 people choosing maths. Similarly here, there's 27 people quizzed. 9 people were under 1.5 meters. 27 take away 9 is 18. 18 people was missing. 100 people took part in a survey about films. How many people does each segment represent? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking for 1/5 of 100. 1/5 of 100 is 20. The answer is 20. The answer is not 1/5. Here, each section is 1/4. 1/4 of 80 is equal to 20. The answer is 20. How many people from the 40 people surveyed chose each type of pet? Here you needed 3 answers. Okay, let's start with dog. Half the people chose dog, so dog was 20 people. 1/4 of the people chose cat, that's 10, and 1/4 of the people chose rabbit, that's 10. I gave you a bit of help with this one so that you could see that it could be split into fifths, and the blue section would be 2/5. So how many people chose each option? 1/5 of 50 is 10. The blue is 2/5, so that's 20. Skiing would be 10, and cultural would be 10. Moving on to the next questions then. The next questions were your reasoning questions. Ricky says, I do have enough information to work out the total number of votes. Is he correct? Prove it. He is not correct because we don't know any of the values. If one of the values had been labelled, we'd be able to work it out. For example, if half was 4, then I'd know the whole is 8. But at the moment, no values are labelled. We cannot work that one out. Nonny says she has enough information to work out the total number of votes. Is she correct? Prove it. She is correct. If 50 people are boys, 50 people are girls, the total was 100. Right, now on to the challenge questions. Felicity says, I don't have enough information to work out the total number of votes. Is she correct? Prove it. She is wrong. She can work out the total number of votes. I can see here 3 equal parts make up 1/4. The way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to first find 1/4 and then times that by 4. 80 times 3 is equal to 240. That means 1/4 of the shape is 240. Now I can take 1/4 and times it by 4. 240 multiplied by 4. 960. You could also have done it by working out what fraction that was and then multiplying that together. So if I know that's 1/4 and I split that into 3, that would be 1/12. 1/12 times 80 would be 960. Okay, Brett has forgotten what fraction of the pie chart should be given to Europe. Can you work out what fraction from the information below? This was a really tricky problem. First, you need to work out how many people would fit there. I'd add all of this up and subtract it. First, I'm going to look for any easy number bonds. Well, I know that 80 add 80 is 160, and I can also see 60 and 40 go together nicely. 240 add 160 will be equal to 400. Add that up together and you've got 560. Okay, let's find missing Europe then. 720, take away 560. 0 minus 0 is 0, regrouping here, 6 and 1. 160. But that's not finished because I was asked for the fraction. That's 160 out of 720. This, of course, can be simplified. I'll start by dividing both by 10. 16 out of 72. I now need to think to myself, what is the highest common, what can I divide them both by? Okay, if you've left it as 160 out of 720, that's not wrong. It's just not a very easy fraction to work with. I know I can divide both of those by 4, and I can divide both of them by 8. 8 is a bigger number, so I'll divide both by 8. 16 divided by 8 is equal to 2. 72 divided by 8 is equal to 9. 2/9 of the pie chart should have been Europe. If you got that, I'm very impressed. This next question, we had to fill in the total number of people in the missing information. Okay, feta cheese I'm looking for first. C is moussaka, and moussaka is 44 people. C is also a half. I can see A is a quarter. If 1/2 is 44, then 1/4 would be 22. Now you're looking for the total number of people. So again, let's add those up. 4 add 44 is 48. That works nicely with 22. 22 add 48 will give me 70. Now I'm going to add on 11 to get 81 and 7 to get 88. 88 people were quizzed in total. Another way you could have worked that out, if you were really, really confident, you could have said to yourself, right, 44 people liked moussaka, and I know 44 is equal to a half. If 44 is a half, I can multiply 44 by 2 to get 88. Right, well done to everyone who's continued watching the video to the end. Don't forget to draw your picture of a dog, and I will see you all tomorrow. Well done for persevering with your maths, marking it and uploading all of your work.